Hi and welcome back to another video. I currently find myself in the Asebu Pan-African village. So currently at this site we are having a two-story building done. The number of rooms originally was 3, but now we've added 1 to it to make it 4. Now before showing you what is being done, this project has a little bit of history. So this was originally started by a group of people or a different team, where it looks like the owner wasn't so much happy with what was going on. She wasn't getting some form of accountability, progress on the project, and so on. So she contacted me. We had several discussions about the project just to be sure if we're willing to take this up and to be able to work on it. So initially she actually requested for us to demolish whatever had been done, because what we realized was that the building or the orientation of the building wasn't the best. So this side is the road, but the owner has 2 plots, so this one here and then one here, and then they decide to position the building facing the other plot instead of the road. That is because the owner has plans for the other plot. It's not wrong positioning the building or facing it to the other plot, but depending on what the other plot is going to be used for. So the owner requested for us to demolish what was there or what had been done, and actually suggested to her it won't be the best thing to do. So instead we can remove all the blocks within the foundation. So they had done a bit of the foundation, they were not completed. What I also noticed was that they hadn't used the damp-proof membrane in their trenches, as well as they hadn't used bitumen on their wall. So we took or removed all the blocks, and then also the steel. Because it's a story building, they used 16 mm, which was great. So we cut all those ones, and because of the length, we're able to reuse them as a mat for what we are currently working on. So instead of demolition, we actually decided to remove the blocks, which saved on some cost in terms of the number of blocks we would have purchased. So that is just a quick or brief history about this project. So far, we've been working on this thing since sometime in December, thereabouts, and we're currently in March, and we've made great progress on it. So let me just show you. So this, as I was saying, is a 2-story building, so the ground floor and top floor, and in front of me is the front part of it, which is facing the road. So there's a road here, and to the left side is the other plot of the owner. So this is the frontal part, this is the garage area, we have the living room, we have the dining room, there's a kitchen, there's a washroom. So I'll take you inside and show you what it looks like. Also, you notice that we have a blue colored DPM. So yes, this particular type of DPM is thicker than the usual ones. So you notice this is very thick than the usual one. So there are different colors. There's blue, there's black, sometimes even white, and so on. So we went with this particular one, which is quite thicker than the lighter ones, which are mostly used. And then aside from that, also, if you look closely at the block or the beginning of the block, you notice that we also have DPC in there. So that's DPC. So when we started working here in Asebu, some of these materials were not so common to come by, even some in Accra. So For some of our projects, we didn't get to use DPC, but we were able to use DPM, which is also great. You know, damp is something that you'd always want to try as much as possible to prevent it from happening, because you can't entirely stop it when it starts. You can only control it. So if you're able to put in measures in place to prevent it from happening, that would be great. So for this particular foundation in the trenches, we use the DPM, and then after laying the footings or the block, we painted the bitumen both inside and outside, and then after that we also laid DPM. There's the thicker one on top of the floor before the overside concrete came, and then after that, after the concrete, we used DPC. So that is what that is just about that. Now, aside from that, also, if you look closely, notice that the size of steel we have is 16 mm, and they are tied in 6. So 3 to the front and then 3 to the back. And then also, if you look closely, you notice that the stirrups or the rings, we are using 10 millimeters for that. And then the size of blocks we are using for the ground floor is 6 inches. So we use 6 inches in the foundation. We are also using 6 inches for the ground floor. And the height of the ground floor, especially the door and window height, isn't the usual height. So ideally, it would have been about 9 course of blocks. Let me count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it would have been about 9 course of blocks, and then the lintel will come. But we've done 10 course of blocks before you're going to do the lintel all over. But I've also noticed that sometimes some people skip the lintel because they want to save cost and then run the blocks all the way. Maybe sometimes do the lintel on the openings, either the doors and the windows, which is not bad. That was what we were actually looking at doing. But from a couple look at things, we noticed that it wouldn't be the best. So we're actually going to do lintel all over the walls. So some people would also do the lintel on the openings. Some wouldn't even do any lintel. We'll block up all the way to hit the beam, which is going to serve us or carry the decking. So we are going to be doing lintel all over. The reason why we've had to block up all the way to this high is because we want to have or achieve high ceiling within the ground floor. So that is why we've had to block up all the way to this particular point. And aside from that, also during the casting of the overside concrete, we decided to leave out the garage. The reason was that we wanted to be able to get a good level, especially taking into consideration the level of the compound, so that we don't either raise it too much high or make it too much low. So that is going to be cast now. So you notice that the DPM is here. So you notice that, as I said, this is very thick. So that is going to be laid on the floor. And then after that, we go ahead to have the concrete cast. Aside from that, also, you might have seen some pipes known as the risers. So some of these are going to serve as drains, because the roofing type we are having is the secret or hidden roof. So we need to run the pipes, which is going to go all the way to the top to be able to serve as drains. Aside from that, also we also have some risers for the washrooms at the top. So now we have 2 bedrooms down. We have 2 bedrooms at the top, so the master bedroom and another bedroom at the top. So we also have other risers for that. That is the waste pipe. And one thing also is that sometimes when people are having story buildings done and they have to run their pipes, some pass it in the steel or in the column, which also isn't entirely the best, because usually the column is supposed to be of a certain thickness with concrete, that is filled with concrete. When you pass your pipes inside, you are creating a hollow space inside, which is not going to have the strength as compared to casting everything full without the pipe inside. So that's one thing you also need to take into consideration, especially when you need to pass pipes which are going to serve as risers or serve as either drain or waste pipe to the top floor of your building. So you don't allow the pipes to pass through the columns, but instead you create a section either by the side of the column or even at a different entire space. So you notice that some of the pipes are actually passed differently from where the column is. So you notice that's one. And then also, because you know sometimes the storm water or the rainwater, depending on where the sloping is going to go, there's going to be a lot of water, and you need to take that into consideration. So the size of pipes we are using 4 inches for the side where the slope goes, and then we are using 3 inches. There's going to be a patio at the top, so this is going to serve as a drain for that patio. So yeah, aside from that, let me just take a walk. So this is the living area. So once you take a walk into the living area, there's stairs that is going to start from here, which is going to go to the top. That is the top floor. So start from the living room here, and that goes all the way to the top. And to the right side, you have the dining room. So this is the dining room, and then from the dining room, there's a kitchen over there, and then from the kitchen, you can take a walk into the corridor. So I'll take you there. Because of the work going on there, it might be a little bit noisy. So this is a guest washroom. So you first have a small lobby here, and then from the lobby you have the washroom itself. That is just the WC. So there's WC, and then there's also basin here, and then this window goes into the garage. So from here you take a walk into the corridor. So this right part leads outside to the kitchen as well as to this bedroom. This side is going to serve as like a storeroom or a pantry, and we are also using it. We are going to be creating a section of it which is going to serve as like a utility room. Aside from that, when you come further here, this is an office. So yes, an office space or area here. And then when you continue further, this is a laundry room, and then this is also another bedroom which has a small walk-in closet here. So there's a walk-in closet, and then from that it has its washroom here. So the other bedroom also has a walk-in closet, and then also the washroom. So let me just take you outside around the building so you can see. So this is the outside. There's a side porch. So this porch is to the side. Once you're facing the building, this porch is to the side or the right side of it. Now we have 2 columns here, so you can see some of the risers going, and then this is another one as well. So this is the back of the house. Yeah, so as it stays now, because we are done with the block work all the way through to the lintel, we are actually blocking up or boxing up the columns so we can go ahead to cast the concrete, that is the column concrete. And then after that, we're also going to go ahead to do the board works for the lintel, and then we go ahead to cast that as well. So currently the steel benders are working on the steel for the lintel. So they've already done that of the columns. So they've lapped all the column steels, and they're currently working on that for the lintel. So far, this is one of the projects we've been working on for some months now. I decided to just hold on a little bit, sharing with you until we get to a certain point. And I think as it stays now, this is a good point to at least show some of, or a story building, another story building we haven't done here, and see some of the things that we are doing with it. So that, yeah, in case you are considering doing any story building, you probably can take some of the things into consideration and see how best to go about it. Sometimes orientation of building, some people get it wrong, and it's not entirely their fault, because especially a place like this at Asebu, at the very beginning, where there were no roads, demarcations were not done, pillars were not done, and the rest, you sometimes get it a bit wrong in terms of orientation. So in case you're building at a place where demarcation is not properly done, you have to take a lot of things into consideration. You either get whoever is responsible for the demarcation of the land to make sure just to direct you entirely to where the road is going to be, so that you don't end up with a position or positioning your building wrongly, where your building is going to be facing at the back side, the side, as against where it should be facing the road or the front side. So that will be just about it for now. I'm sure some people may be interested in the total quantity of blocks with you. So for the ground floor up to this particular height, we've used about 2,200 blocks so far for that. We intend using about 3,000 and maybe a little over 3,000 for the ground floor before we go ahead to do the beams, and then we go ahead to do the decking. So that will be just about it for now. I hope you find some information in this video useful, so in case you are working on your project, you're able to take some of these things into consideration. So that'll be just about it for now. Thank you very much for watching. In case you are new, kindly go ahead and hit on the subscribe button, and then don't forget to hit on the bell so that anytime there's a new video, you get to see it. So I'll see you in the next one.